Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your work week forecast for December 30th through January 3rd, your New Year, and how much you're working this week, who knows? But your New Year's week forecast. Unfortunately, if you're hoping to get some skiing in, it's not looking amazing for the next few days. Things get turned better towards the end of the week, and then it does look like the first couple weeks in January. Beyond this, we turn certainly colder. That's basically a guarantee, with some chances for some snow. So yeah, things are looking a little bit. The pattern looks to get better after we get through the middle of this week. But unfortunately, through New Year's, not looking great. It is what it is. There's not much we can do about it. On the bright side, the warmest weather is we're still real warm out there right now. A lot of temperatures in the 50s, but we are about to cool off some. We're going to cool off some for this system, but not quite enough to keep it snow, although it may mix at the very highest of elevations. We'll talk about that a little bit, but it's going to be mostly rain for this system as well, which is going to come through New Year's Eve night, basically starting around midnight, continuing through the morning. It's a pretty quick hitter, and then it leaves behind some showers in the afternoon for New Year's Day that change to flurries for the day after. And then we get kind of blustery and much colder for the end of the week. That's sort of the overall pattern. Here's our system for today. Brought rain, has opened the floodgates to the warmer temperatures across the eastern part of the country. But we are starting to tap some colder air. There's not real cold air yet, although there is cold air building way up towards the pole, way up towards northern Alaska, northwestern Canada, that is going to start to make its way down across. Canada is going to cool off significantly, and the eastern two-thirds of the United States look to cool off a lot. But that process is going to happen in several steps. The first one is this system. This system will also help to drag some of that in, and then basically a series of kind of fronts help to continue to push the temperatures down. So by Friday, it feels wintry with temperatures in the upper 20s, and we're only going to get colder from there basically as we head through the next couple of weeks. So I think, we're headed for a good stretch of winter weather. If you're looking forward to that, hopefully we'll add some fresh snow to that. The earliest that would happen would be the beginning of next week. How much that system impacts our area is very much, it's obviously, we'd be like probably Monday into Tuesday is like the time frame for that. And that's way too far out to have any details. But there will be a system impacting somewhere along the eastern seaboard there, and if it impacts us, it would almost certainly be snow. So we'll have to see what happens. All right, let's take a look. We'll take a closer look in here at radar in a second, but just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on across the country, here's our next system starting to build. This will tap a little bit of Atlantic and Gulf moisture as well. It's far enough south for that. So this will come through with a pretty good slug of moisture. But it will not be, but like I said, it will be basically mostly in the form of rain. Above 2,000 feet, there could be some wet snow mixed in, and it will change to snow as it's kind of winding down, but no real accumulation. I no need for an accumulation map or anything like this, except for at the very highest elevations. Wouldn't be surprised if you got a crusty inch up at like at the summit of Stratton or Okemo or Mount Snow or Killington, something like that. But basically, other than that, no accumulation. On the backside, those ski areas, the top of the ski areas could get some snow as we get the snow showers kind of on the backside of it and some lake enhancement of those snow showers at the highest elevation. So Thursday and Friday, a little bit of fresh snow for the ski areas. But for most of us, this is just wet and not any snow. So that's what's going on there. Let's take a quick look or a look in closer at radar. All right, so here's what's going on closer to home. You can see the steady rain has obviously moved out. We've had a couple bands of steadier rain and heavier rain move through this morning. This band will be out of here soon too. This kind of represents obviously the upper level portion of the system. And is mostly rain. It will be rain as it comes through here and is kind of dissipating. It'll be kind of showery in nature. So the rest of the day, this is possibility for us. I wouldn't plan on any real dry stretches. Certainly the clouds are going to be with us. Temperatures are still going to be warm. We don't start to cool off. Tonight we cool off some. Instead of being in the upper 40s to near 50, we'll cool back into the 30s. But tomorrow stays relatively warm as well with temperatures in the 30s before we really don't cool off more significantly till after the next system. So with that in mind, let's take a quick look at those temperatures. As you can see, we do have cooler air to the north and west, but this is by no means cold for this time of year. A lot of 20s across a lot of Canada. This could easily be, zeros, 10 below zero for this time of year. So no Arctic air. The Arctic air is locked way up to the northwest. That's going to take a little bit longer, but we will eventually get to that kind of weather. The pattern does look to shift us towards much colder air as we head into the first part of January here beyond this weekend. But for now, just colder temperatures. A lot of warmth across the eastern seaboard with the system just trying to drag it up. And you can see this next system as well. It's a lot of it is dealing with a pretty good temperature contrast, but it's kind of from what's well above average temperatures here across Texas and the Gulf Coast, and sort of just kind of Pacific marine air. And a lot of that, we've talked a lot about how those storms crashed in across the Pacific Northwest. They really moved a lot of Pacific marine air across North America, and that's really why we don't have the cold air, the real cold air to tap yet. And so that does look like that series of storms has cleared out, and we are starting to get more into a situation where we could tap some more continental air and give ourselves a chance at those that contrast happen along the East Coast, give ourselves some chance at colder air across the Northeast and also snowstorms across the Northeast. So we'll have to take a look and see how that happens. But here's the system on Wednesday. As you can see, basically kind of like this one, there's going to be a punch of some pretty heavier rain. This is about midnight when things get started. You can see there is a little bit of blue mixed in at the highest elevations. Northern Vermont, Northeast Kingdom, Northern New Hampshire sees a little bit more snow. This probably is underdoing the, this will probably be a little more steady. It looks a little more showery than it's going to be, although it is going to be a ton of precipitation, but maybe half inch to the 3/4 at the very most equivalent of precipitation. And by the end, we do start to tap just enough cold air where we get a little bit of snow at the highest elevations. But again, nothing I think we even need to think about accumulations at the highest elevations for. So let's take a quick look at the actual forecast. So today, sprinkles left over. Temperature is basically where you are is where you're going to be. So 50s for a lot of us, mid 50s in some spots, a little bit cooler. Really, the mountains are not cooler here right now. It's actually been warmer at the elevation the last couple of days. We finally broke the inversion, and even the lower elevations are warm today with the wind. But tomorrow, we start off a little cooler, mid 30s. Temperatures around 40 for Tuesday, although that is still well above average. So mostly cloudy. Could see a peak or two of sun tomorrow on New Year's Eve. Things are dry basically for New Year's Eve till close to midnight. So if you've got those evening plans, you should be fine. Driving should be fine. There would be no driving issues, even though I do have wintry mix put in there. By Wednesday, we do get a little bit of a wintry mix with temperatures kind of in the mid 30s, a little bit cooler at elevation. Again, I don't think that'll cause any travel headaches if you're heading home on Wednesday or if you're in the area. Wednesday's not a great ski day. Thursday's getting better. Of course, as it gets colder there, it's going to be a little tricky, although it's not going to hard freeze behind the storm. So that will allow them, I don't think we'll get real ice or anything like that on Thursday. They'll be able to start hitting the snowmaking again. And then things by Friday start to look a little bit better. It's breezy. Wind chills will be quite a bit colder than those highs in the upper 20s. And then we turn even a little bit colder for the weekend. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on for the work week. Let's take a quick look at those highlights. Warm and wet through New Year's before the pattern turns much more wintry. The rain today is winding down to showers. New Year's Eve rain begins around midnight and continues through the morning. The New Year's storm could mix with snow at the highest elevation with little to no snow accumulation. And next chance for snow looks to be next Monday into Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. But the pattern is definitely turning more wintry. All right. Those are kind of the highlights. Let's take I wanted to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Let's go to the actual patrons page. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. I really appreciate all of their help. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a link in the description below that talks about what you can do, what you get for benefits. There's a few different levels of patron. You can check those out and see if you want to become one. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I'd encourage you to do so. Helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos. I will be back on Friday with a look at your work week or your weekend forecast. Your weekend forecast. And then also for my patrons, I'll be back on Thursday. Now, usually I'm back on Wednesday, but with New Year's Day, I have plans. So I'll be back on Thursday morning with a look at their weekend forecast. I usually get a forecast on Wednesday afternoons for the weekend as patrons. This week it happens to be Thursday morning because of the holiday. So, all right, I will be back for patrons on Thursday, and for everybody else, Friday morning with a look at your weekend forecast.